Hello my friends and welcome to another video. Today this one's more for the beginner or intermediate level agency owner, coach or consultant. If you're making less than 10k a month, this applies to you. I'm going to walk you through a mindset you need to adopt, and I'm also going to tell you something you've been lied to. Specific gurus and specific people have given you the wrong playbook to get to 10 grand a month, right? And there's a cornerstone to this playbook that is just a complete fucking lie, right? So I'm going to explain it to you in this video, and hopefully by you understanding this, you can behave in accordance with what you should actually be doing, as opposed to in a way that aligns with delusion, which, trust me, is no way to build a company. So let's get into the video. All right, so for those of you who aren't familiar with me, my name's Charlie, built and scaled 2 companies, an agency to 7 figures and a coaching business near enough to 8 figures. Let's jump into the video. So what is this lie that I've just sort of told you about? Well, it's super simple. It revolves around this premise of, drum roll please, hiring, right? Okay, so here's the thing. You have to understand how to think critically, because when you look at gurus who sell 997 courses on how to start an agency, they have what we call an incentive to delude you, right? And what that means is they will sell the highest amount of pleasure possible and the least amount of pain possible. So what they're doing, right, when someone's selling a 997 course, or when someone's trying to introduce you to the agency life, is they want to ramp up your perceived pleasure, right, of the model, and they want to drastically decrease the amount of pain that you perceive the model to have. And this is about SMMA, or just business in general, like start a coaching business or start a dropshipping business. Anyone that sells a course, like a BizOp course, right, selling a business opportunity on how to start something, is incentivized to tell you it's going to be the best thing in the world and basically leave out all the bad stuff, right? And so what this does is it misaligns your expectations with the true objective nature of the model, which means that you get into it expecting something, and then when you behave out of accordance with how you should, you fail, right? So I don't want you to fail. So that's the first piece of this puzzle, is understanding the what I'm going to just dub the 997 incentive. So we understand the 997 incentive. We know that basically people have incentives to lie because, yeah. But what's the biggest lie, or the biggest category of lie that you've been basically sold on, right? And this is probably stuck in your paradigm right now. This is probably part of how you see building an agency or a coaching business, and your paradigm's everything, right? So if you're not seeing things properly, you're in trouble. So, like I said, it comes down to hiring, right? Hear me out. Listen to me, right? Because trust me, I've been there, I've done this, I've helped hundreds of people get to 10 grand a month by now. The main thing, the main paradigm flaw, the flaw in the Death Star for most people, is they think they need to hire. I'm going to give you one exception, right? A virtual assistant. The only thing and person you need to hire between 0 to 10k a month is a virtual assistant. If you cannot get your business to $10,000 per month by yourself, you shouldn't be there. It's so stupid. I'm going to explain why. Here's the thing, right? Going from 0 to $10,000 per month is all about you deserving it, right? And it's all about you adopting and developing a set of skills that can be exchanged for income. What people do is they sell you their shitty courses, and they tell you, oh, don't, like, it's an objection handling play. It's a pre-objection handling play, because they don't do sales calls, they do it through online webinars, or they do it through online funnels. So they know that your concern is, well, how am I going to deliver the service? Like, how am I going to know what to sell, right? And then what they do is they'll just say to you, oh, you just hire a media buyer, right? And the media buyer will deliver the service for you, so you're basically drop servicing. And then you might also be like, oh, well, I don't know, how am I going to get clients? And they say, oh, don't worry, you just hire an appointment setter. And then you say, oh, well, I don't know how I'm going to sell. Oh, well, you just hire a salesperson. It's a fucking lie. If someone can answer me this question, then I'm wrong and they are right. And I'm happy to be proven wrong, man, because all I want to know is the truth. How on earth are you going to manage a skilled labourer if you yourself do not have that skill? So the whole fucking lie falls apart at that simple question. If you start an agency and you get a media buyer before you even know what a fucking custom conversion is, right? How do you know if that media buyer is actually doing a good job or not? Because you're going to business owners and you're selling them your services, right? But you have no idea if they're actually going to deliver. And here's the thing, you have to understand that building a company takes time. Developing skills takes time. Results aren't supposed to be immediate in business. I sell a program that teaches people how to get clients. And I set the expectation, dude, it's probably going to take you at least 6 months to get any meaningful results, right? It's not, you have to look past this bullshit because you naturally will be inclined, you will want to believe this crap. You want to believe the fact that you just have to hire a media buyer and then you get a sales rep and then you get an appointment setter and then you're the CEO. I hate to break it to you, man, but if you're making 6 figures, multi-6 figures, you're not a CEO. I make 8 figures. I don't see myself as a CEO. Chief Executive Officer of what? A fucking media buyer? Like, come on. Keep your pride in check and get that shit on lock. But if you don't know how to do your own appointment booking, if you haven't developed that skill, you don't deserve to hire someone to run it for you. There's a caveat to this, where in traditional business models, if you let's say you start a restaurant, right? And, you're not the best chef, but you understand the restaurant game. Then yes, you hire a chef. Like, let's say that you don't even know how to cook a steak to medium rare. If you hire a chef and you don't know the basics of cooking, right, or just the simple stuff like how to cook al dente pasta or whatever the hell, just simple things, it's very hard for you to manage someone that's better than you. Me, for example, with this model, before I hired a sales rep, I conducted 1,000 calls in my niche. Before I hired an appointment setter, I booked near enough 1,000 appointments in my niche because I hired 2 roles at the same time. Before I hired a coach or a client success manager, I handled every single support ticket myself for the first year of my business. Could I have hired a CSM earlier? Yes. Could I have hired a sales rep earlier? Yes. Could I have hired an appointment setter earlier? Yes. But you have to think in longer term time horizons than just the next 3 months. Because I knew that, if I haven't got the authority, how are you going to train a sales rep? This is another thing. I'll just hire a sales rep to do the calls. You can't just run away from what needs to be done by hiring a sales rep. I'll just hire a rep to do the calls because I don't really want to do them. And it's also a pride thing. People are like, sales calls are beneath me. How fucking dare you, mate? What are you making, $1,000 a month? How can you say sales calls are beneath you? Or appointment settings beneath me? I don't want to do outreach. I'm worth more than that. Sorry, mate, but you're probably worth about $1,000 a month because that's how much you're making right now. So don't tell me that those activities are beneath you because your pride will destroy your business. Drop it, okay? You're not CEO, you're not founder, you're nothing, right? And I don't mean that, and I'm not trying to demean you or insult you. I'm trying to align your perception of yourself and your business with reality. Now, will you be CEO? Will you be the founder? Will you be all of this and more? Yes, you can be and you will be if you have the humility to accept your current position. But for as long as you have this inflated sense of pride and this inflated sense of delusion that you can just outsource all of the pain, you will never grow. Virtual assistant is fine, right? I think 0 to 10K a month, that should be you and a VA. Because the virtual assistant can handle these menial tasks that, you shouldn't necessarily actually be doing, right? So just stuff like sending emails or doing invoices, I don't know, right? Whatever these tasks are that seem to take a lot of your time, that don't add a huge amount of value in weight to the business. Now, once you get to $10,000 a month, then you deserve a team, right? You've got 5 to 10 clients, you're working yourself really hard, you've got appointments coming in, you're conducting sales calls, you're delivering results for clients. Then you can start to try to duplicate yourself. But here's the great thing. If you try and hire a media buyer when you're making 2K a month and you've only got 1 client, right? When you try and hire a media buyer, you won't know what good looks like. But when you've spent the last year building this company and you've serviced 8 clients and you're actually half decent at it now, then you start to know what good looks like when it comes to hiring a media buyer. Could you realistically hire a media buyer when you're making $2,000 a month? Yes. Right? Do you deserve to? No. What's the chances of you hiring a great one very low, because great recognizes great. And so this is why I've done 3,000 sales calls across all businesses, but for Imperium, I don't know, 1,500 or something, 1,000. I can recognize incredible talent, and I can manage and train and create cultures, or a great company culture for this talent, because I have been there and done that. Let's say you hire a sales rep to do your sales calls because you're too afraid to. What happens when that sales rep inevitably has a sales slump? What happens when that sales rep runs into an objection that they cannot overcome? They're going to come to you because it's your company. And here's the thing about owning a company is the responsibility always falls with you. Always, right? It's always going to be your fault, and it always should be, because it pains me that people have lied to you. Oh, don't worry about delivering the service. Don't worry about any of that. We'll show you exactly how to hire a media buyer. Do you know what? I don't think I've ever seen, and I've serviced over 1,000 agency owners at this point, and I honestly, hand on heart, don't think I've ever seen a new, inexperienced agency owner make a good hiring decision, right? Because you don't know what to look for. It's like, I've got this media buyer, he's going to be like $600 a month, and I'm going to charge $1,200 a month, and he's got some case studies I can leverage, so it's going to be okay, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think he's going to be all right. He seems like the right one. That doesn't end well. The amount of instances where people have just been, I've seen people just get fucked over by bad media buyers, or, the media buyer then takes the clients, or the person doesn't have a contract. It's also just common sense. If you look at any other business, we don't have this like instant gratification internet brain infect us. We just, like, in this industry, everyone is so like impatient and rushed that they end up making stupid decisions like, I can't figure out how to get an appointment, so I'm just going to hire an appointment setting agency. If you don't develop the skill, you don't deserve the result of the skill. You cannot effectively outsource pain. To build your company, you must suffer. And if you outsource that suffering to someone else too early, you don't deserve to be successful, and therefore you won't be. All right? So that's everything. If you need more clients, there's a link in the description that will explain how I can help you get them. I don't care if you click it or not. For full transparency, it's a sales video. Check it out if you want to. If you don't, honestly, I don't really care. But either way, have a good day. Subscribe if you're new. Take care.